A very good evening to all. So we'll start the class in another 2-3 minutes.
Good evening, sir.
Hello, sir. I guess you're on mute.
Yeah, sorry. Good evening all. Yeah. So today let us yeah. So if you have any doubts in last day's topic, you can ask me regarding the concept. I'll just give an overview on the last class, which was on list. Okay, so we started with sequence type. Okay, so we saw the sequence type means the first sequence type is the list, and on sequence type we'll be performing these basic operations. Okay, which are called the CRUD operations: create, read, update, and delete.
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah,
Sir, can you once that that pattern once again?
which one?
Like you given a flag pattern to create.
Okay. Did I give that as an assignment?
Yes, sir.
Okay, okay, yeah,
Yes, sir. Sir, you can explain this, sir, once again.
yeah,
Thank you, sir.
fine. Yeah, please mute. Guru Srikanth,
Pattern
please
part
mute.
once again. Like you given a flag pattern.
Guru, yeah, thank you. Okay, let me write here. Okay, so here you can see that we have the diagonal. Okay, so first of all you have to split it into two halves. Okay, two halves, not horizontally, vertically. We are divided into two vertical halves. Okay, so first this half, which is from, so if it is an odd number, right? So seven columns would be there. So seven columns means you have to split it into 4 plus 3 columns. If it is 9 columns, you have to split it into 5 plus 4 columns. Okay, so the first half should have the majority number of columns, and the second half the remaining part. Okay, fine. Now so let us get the number. And then, so how many rows are there? There are 7 rows. That is n number of rows. So I should put a loop so that it runs for 7 times, right? Okay. So tell me the loop. This will run for 7 times.
For I in range 7.
Yes, very good. For I in range n here. Okay. For I in range n. Okay. So now I want a loop that should run for 4 times along. So I just want to print this loop, print this pattern. Okay. 7 cross 4 pattern I have to print. So how to generalize with respect to n? How to find 4 or the first half number of columns? Range of what? See, for 7 it is 4, right? For 5 it's 3. For 9 it is 5. So generalized,
N
what
plus
is
n
for
plus
n?
1 by 2.
Yeah, very good. So it is n plus 1. So yeah, it is a floor division. Okay, if you put normal division, you get decimal points as well. So floor division. Okay, so in this, if we see the diagonal, so what is the logic for getting the diagonal? This left diagonal. So what would be the ij
I
values?
I should be equal to j,
Yes.
but less than 4.
Yeah, anyway, the j loop is running only for n plus 1 by 2. So no need to worry about that. So if I double equals j. So this is for left diagonal. For right diagonal,
I plus j is less than n minus 1.
is it less than or equal to?
Equal to.
Yes, equal to n minus 1. Okay, print star end equal to space. Okay, so now we have filled the diagonal. So let me put an else and then I just print a dummy value, okay? A dot. Later we can fill.
Sir, I have a question?
Yeah.
Here in star you've written I is equal to j. But
Yeah.
I is equal to j is only till third column. After that, it's dollar.
No, that's why I put the range only till n plus 1 by 2. Okay, so it will run
Okay,
only for the
only
first
till
4
then.
columns. Yeah.
Okay, okay, got it.
This pattern will not be printed. Okay. So let us run the code and see. Okay. So now I've got the diagonal. Both the diagonals are filled. Okay. Now let me fill this hyphen portion. Okay. So hyphen, what is the property of this hyphen portion? So here you can see I would be greater than j, right? Whatever I value, what is the coordinate, what is the ij value for this particular hyphen?
I is greater than j.
Yeah. So what is the coordinate value for this? 2 comma 1, right?
Hmm.
So this one, this is 3
4,
comma
3 comma
2.
2, 2.
This one,
4 comma 1 and 4 comma 1.
4 comma 1. Okay. So for all these part, okay, so you can see that the ij value, I value is greater than j. Okay.
Hmm.
Elif I greater than j. So if you see I greater than j, this entire portion would come. Okay, here also you can see I is greater than j. For this dollar also, I would be greater than j. So because here, what is the ij value? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, comma 3, right? So I is greater than j. So I
Hmm.
don't want to cover this portion as well. So I want to stop only with this. So I need to find one more like property for this particular area alone, which is nothing but it should be before this right diagonal. Okay, this is the right diagonal and it should be before this. So the property for this right diagonal is I plus j equal to n. So we can also say that I plus j is
Less
less
than.
than n minus 1 for this particular area. Okay, so and I plus j less than n minus 1. Okay, print hyphen. Okay, so now hyphen part is also done. Now hash pattern. So what is the property for this hash? So it is to the right hand side of the left diagonal, right? So which means that j is greater than I or I is
I
less
is
than
less
j.
than j. Hmm.
Yeah. I is less than j. Print hash. Now hash is also done. So in the else part, you can just remove this dot and then mark it as dollar. So the left half is done. Now we can see that. So I can just move this. Okay, I can just make it as an if condition. So let me run this J loop for the entire number of time. And then this set of code should run only for J value less than n minus, sorry, that property. Okay. If J is less than n plus 1 divided by 2. See, what I've done is I'm letting this J, okay, to run till a range of n. That is entire number of counts till this, if everything it will run. But I am putting a condition to execute these set of statements. Okay, only if J is less than n plus 1 divided by 2. Okay. So if we execute, we can see we'll get the same pattern. Okay. Now what I'll do is I'll put an else. Then as of now, I'll just put a dot. Okay. So now the framework is ready. Now I have to fill with the pattern. So in this else part, I can write my own logic. So my logic should be the center portion should be that the center line should be star. Okay. So how to find out the center line? What is the property of the center line? If
I is equal to 3
yeah, if I is equal to 3, but in general n plus 1
by 2.
divided by 2. Print of star. Yeah. Okay. So it is minus 1, right? So index, we're starting from 0th index, right? That's right. So minus 1. Okay. Now this is done. Next, the star pattern. Okay. The star pattern, what you have to do is, sorry, not star, hash. So for hash, so what this area, how to define this area? This is above the center line, right? So you can define it with respect to I itself. How?
less than.
Yes. If the same condition with less than. Okay. Then now I'll print what hash. Okay. And the else part is going to be the remaining portion, right? So I can just change this dot to a dollar. That's it. Okay. So make it look like a flag. Okay, fine. Understood?
So for even numbers, I mean even number of inputs.
Sorry, for even number.
Hmm. Yes, sir.
For even number, you don't have a defined center portion, right? That's why I'd have told that just try for odd numbers, no? You will have one portion larger and one portion smaller like that.
Okay.
So mostly these kinds of pattern would be looking good for odd numbers. Okay. Okay, fine. Any doubts in this? Everyone understood?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah. So then list. Uh, yeah. So this is how we'll define an empty list. Okay. So either use the list keyword or just put two square brackets, open and close square brackets. You'll create an empty list. And this is how you will create a new list. Okay. So list is heterogeneous in nature. Heterogeneous means what? It can support data of multiple data types. So you have integer, another list, a string, okay, and here you have some float values, another string, you have a list inside a list. So it is supporting all types of data, right? So it is heterogeneous in nature. And we saw how to access elements inside a list, okay, using the index. So index will start from 0. So to access a particular value, you have to count at which location it is, and then you can access that particular data. And if it is nested, you have to give one more square brackets and then give the index numbers. Okay. And then we saw the slicing operation, so which is similar to the range operation. Okay. And we saw how to like take a sub list from a larger list. Okay. And we also saw the various operations, how to use the three parameters of this slicing operation: start, end, and then step size. And what would be the default values, that also we saw. And we also saw that Python supports negative indexing. Okay. So where the from the last the index starts from -1. So -1, -2, -3, like that it goes on. And suppose by mistake if you given a larger end value, so it will not throw any error. It just goes till the last and then it will stop uh, taking the elements. Okay. It knows what is the length, right? So it will stop there itself. And we saw various operations on a list, how to get the elements from the user and then append it. Appending means adding at the end to a particular list. Okay. And then we saw how insert works and how extend works. Okay. Insert is nothing but adding an element at a particular index, and extend is adding lot of elements, okay, more than one elements at the end of the list. And we saw how to use a for loop to iterate over a list. Okay. And then we saw the membership operator, which is in, which is used to check whether a particular element is present in a list or not. Then we saw the concatenation operation, which is just the plus symbol, which is used to concatenate two lists and create a new list. Okay. And we also saw what would happen if we directly assign a list to another list, and then using the copy, what would happen. So if we directly assign without using the copy function, it will start referring to the same list. Okay. It will not create a new list. Instead, it will just point to the same list. Okay. And here, once we use the copy function, it will create a new list, and then that would be pointing to L2. L2 will be pointing to that new object. Okay. And we saw how it is working using the IDs. Okay. So ID is nothing but the memory address. Okay. Base address of a particular object. Okay. Yeah. And we saw like yeah. So this repetition operation. So repetition operation is nothing but, suppose you want to create list of 100 zeros, we cannot keep typing 0 for 100 times. Instead, we can just use this repetition operator to create a list of 100 zeros. It is not that it should have only 0, it can have any number of elements. You can also have 1 2 3 and then give into 100. It will create a list of 1 2 3s 100 times. Okay, totally there will be 300 elements. Okay, so 100 ones, 100 twos, 100 threes, like that it will be created. That's it. Okay, and now let us continue with today's topic. Any doubts so far?
No, sir.
Okay, now the next topic is tuples. So tuple is quite similar to list, but the only difference is tuples are immutable. Kindly mute, please, Srinidhi. Immutable. Immutable means what? Once you create, will not be able to update the values. Okay, that is why it is called immutable. Okay, so I'll explain this. Okay, with the example, then you'll understand. So to represent tuple, we use parentheses. Okay, so normal brackets are used to represent tuple. Now, uh, the tuple will also, it is same as list. Okay, so yeah, so we'll see all the four operations. Actually, I told update is not possible, right? So create, read, update, and delete. Yeah, we'll see what all operations are possible and or are not possible. Okay, in list, I think we missed deletion, right? Okay, so let us see how to delete element in a list. Then we'll come back to tuple. Okay. Suppose we have a list. L is equal to, if you want to remove a particular element, suppose you want to remove 2. So what you do is you just put L dot remove of. So you have to pass the element that you want to remove, 2. Okay. So I'll print both the list before removing and after removing. Okay. Now what does this remove do is it will take an element that has to be removed. Okay, it is not the index. Okay, it is not index, it is the element itself. So it will search for the first element which is matching with this, and then it will delete that element. Okay. Okay. Suppose if I have another 2. Now what would happen? What do you think would happen?
I think it will remove the first two.
Yes, correct. Okay, so it will just, the purpose of remove is to remove the first occurrence of the element that is passed. Okay, it will not bother about any other elements at all. Only the first element will be removed. Okay, fine. Now tell me what would happen if I give L of 0 1 2 3 4. Now what would be the output?
It will remove the last two.
Okay, good guess. Any other answer?
It will remove the fourth index.
Fourth index is 2. Yeah, so this should be removed. Okay, anyone wants to give any other answer?
First two.
First 2. Is it, I guess?
Like,
If it is first 2, why first 2? Why not the last two?
Because the value is 2, right? So it looks
Yeah,
for the first occurrence.
correct. Very good. See, actually, even if you give LF4, what happens is the value only it is being passed, right? So it is not. It will not be like the final value of LF4 is what 2. So this is nothing but L dot remove of 2. Okay, so this LF4 to the remove the value that is passed is only 2. Okay, so it will search for the first two and then it will remove the first two. So you get the same answer. Okay, now if you want to remove elements with respect to index, what you have to do is you have to use the function called delete. Okay, so just put delete of L of 4. Now what happens is this particular element will be removed. Okay, so this delete is not with respect to list. This is a general function. Okay, now you can see the last two has got removed. So this is how you will delete a particular element. Suppose you want to remove all the elements and make this L as an empty list. Now what you would do is that's a function called clear. Okay, so if I put L dot clear, you can see that all the elements are removed and then you have only an empty list. So this clear does not remove the object. Okay, so now whereas if I put delete of L, so I have not mentioned any index here. So here I have mentioned the index. So what happened is a particular index element got removed. If I simply give del of L, what happens is that entire object itself will get removed from the memory. If I try to print L,
Data
it will,
error.
sorry,
So if I want to print,
correct, it will throw an error. So it says that L is not defined because it got removed from the memory. Okay.
so is it possible to remove both two at a time?
No, you have to write a separate logic for that. Hmm, let me check. L dot. No. Hmm, So this count function, you will pass a value to the count function. Okay, and then it will count the number of occurrences of a particular object. Okay, there are two twos. That's why your output is 2 here. Okay, and then what other functions? I think you have pop function. Yeah. So this pop function, you can specify the index. Okay. So for remove, you're specifying the element itself, right? For pop, you will specify the index. At which index you want to remove the element. That's it. Okay, that's it from list. Okay.
Sir,
Yeah.
how to print elements without braces? I mean, how to print list elements without braces?
Without braces, just put a for loop and then print. And which format you want to print? Can you tell the output format?
I mean, if we take an input of 3 and then we need to enter the 3 elements in a one line. So it depends on input, it changes the, I mean, number of inputs now.
Okay. No, for that you can use map function, right?
Map,
Okay, I'll tell
but
you.
okay.
Sir, I think similar question was there in the iPractice.
Okay. Oh, okay. So map function you can convert it to a list easily. See, I think suppose you have elements one place, one space, two space. You want to convert this to a list, right? Is that the question?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So you just write L is equal to list. Okay. This is typecasting. Okay. Map of all integer elements. So int, comma, input dot split. That's all.
Sir, how will we take input if number is given? As in, if it is given, the user will decide how many inputs we have to take. So if suppose user says 6, then we'll take 6 inputs, and if it says 10, then we have to take 10 inputs.
Sir, we need to use split of, I mean, separator, comma, maximum split. In split function, there are two defines, na, sir.
Okay, wait. Yeah, this you can provide. See, but actually, if n is given, see, n is just given to as a hint to know how many numbers are there. That's it. Okay, if n is given us, if it is given us 5, only 5 numbers will be there. Okay, no need to worry about that. No need to check how many elements are there and all. I'll just show you the output for this. Okay, first a number 5. Okay. So you need not worry that if it's given us 5, will that be in 6 elements or 7 elements? No need to worry about that. If it's given us 5, only 5 elements would be there. Okay. And this is the logic to convert a single line input to a list of integers. Okay, if they are separated using comma, inside the split, you just give a comma. That's it. Okay.
So, but in the L statement, we haven't defined anything related to n.
In which statement? Yeah.
In the list definition, then how come? So, if a user inputs 7 numbers and he has given n as 6, then
No, see, actually, usually for list, this particular element, this is not needed at all. Okay, if you put L dot length, you'll get the number of elements in the list. Okay, if you put just put how many ever elements you want, you can give. Okay, so that is just a supporting number. So instead of finding the length, you can see again for finding the length, there will be an internal logic running, right? So just to avoid that, you can use that n. Okay, or else you can just skip that n value. No need to use that n at all. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Fine. Any other doubts? Okay. So coming back to tuples, yeah. So to declare an empty tuple, we just put t is equal to, okay, so like this empty braces, or you can give t is equal to tuple of. Okay, this is also used as a constructor. Okay, so typecasting value or typecasting keyword. Okay, suppose we have a list, we want to convert that list to a tuple. So in that case, we can use this. For example, I'll just show you. Suppose we have L is equal to comma 5. Okay, and then I'm giving T is equal to tuple of L. Now print T as well as I show you the type of T. Okay, print of type of T. Okay, you already know that L is a list. I'm just converting L to a tuple, and then I'm printing the values of tuple and how it is represented, and then I'm printing the type of tuple. Okay. Understood? So list got converted to a tuple. You can see tuple and list can be differentiated using this bracket itself. Okay, square brackets for list, and then this one normal parenthesis for tuple. So even tuple supports heterogeneous data. Okay, so I just take the same example. Yeah. Only thing is the brackets. Okay. So inside the tuple, we can have the data, integer and a list, string. Okay, all these type of data. You can also have a tuple. And a tuple inside a tuple. This is also possible. Got it? So the same accessing using the index can be provided in tuple as well. Okay, now tell me how to access this 564, 67. I want to print 567. Print of what? How to print this 567?
7,2.
7,
2.
see here also for accessing. Okay, since it is tuple, it is not that you should use parentheses. Okay, So if you're using index value to access a particular variable, whatever may be the type, you're going to use only square brackets. Okay. So index of this entire tuple is what? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah. 7. And then in that,
3,
this
0,
tuple
1, 2,
is
2,
2. Yeah.
then
And then
0,
in that,
0.
567 is 0. So the same way. Okay. So how many ever nestings are there? Those many number of indices you have to provide. Okay. So 3 nestings are there. So 3 indices. Yeah. So creation is done. Now, yeah, reading is also done. So here, the same way, the same slicing operation can be done in tuple as well. So I'm not going to explain that because it will be a repeating thing. Okay, the slicing operation that we saw in list, the same thing can be done over here. Slicing operation, that colon, right? The same thing. And next is the updating. So if we try to update a particular value, so let us see what happens. So tuple is immutable, right? If I try to update, we should throw an error. Let us see. So T of 2 is equal to 3. You can see the ID itself is telling it's an error. Okay. So let us get the error from the compiler. See. So tuple object is immutable. So it is telling that object does not support item assignment. Okay. So what is the use of tuple then? If you're not able to change or modify things, what is the use of tuple? Where can we use this tuple?
When we don't need to change the values at all.
Yeah, correct. So certain like important things, okay, if you are transferring somewhere, so it should be transferred without any modification, right? Okay, so tuple provides the security of modification free. So like suppose you are passing the credentials, username, password, okay, or sometimes for you're doing a project, and that project you're going to work with some database. Okay, that database will have a database name and then database password, IP, all those things will be there. So those things should not be changed, right? So those kinds of things, okay, to do that we can use tuple. Likewise, if you are going to use a file, you want to pass a file name. So file name also should not be changed, right? Okay, so for that purpose, we use tuple. So we cannot modify it. So which means that we cannot delete a particular element also. Okay, that's why there is no remove function. Okay, we cannot insert a new element. So all those functions which would modify the tuple are not there. Okay, so I'll ask you a question. Okay, suppose we have the tuple like this, and I am doing an operation like this. T of 2 of 1 is equal to 43. I want to update this 34 to 43. So now what will happen?
I think it's updated to 43 because listing a tuple.
Error.
Yes.
Sir, it will update it.
Okay, fine. It will update it. Why? Because you have to understand it from the memory point of view. If if I create this tuple, what happens? How many elements are there? 1, 2, 3, 4. So this we saw in the last class also. I'll just give a, I'll tell it again. Okay, so 0, 1, sorry, 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 elements are there in this tuple. So you have a block of size 4, and then the starting address 2023 is what would be present in T, right? So T is pointing to this object. So the first element of the object is 1, second element is 2, and the third element is a list, right? So what happens? A new memory will be allocated of size 3. And then its starting address is what? 3023, and that would be stored in this location. And then 12, 34, 45. Okay, and then you have another tuple, and number of elements is 2. And the value which should be 3027, and here 312543. Sorry. So this is how memory would be allocated, right? Okay, so now this particular block alone is like immutable. You cannot change any of these values inside this block, which means that I cannot change this 1, I cannot change this 2, I cannot change this 3023, or I cannot change this 3027. That's it. Okay, now what I'm doing here is I'm updating the value of the list which is present inside the tuple. Okay, so what happens? Only this particular number will get updated as 43, right? So no effect in this particular area. So this is possible. Okay, understood. So that's why visualizing with respect to memory is quite important. Any doubts?
So tuple inside a tuple cannot be changed, right?
No.
Okay, understood.
This is also immutable, right? So you cannot change these elements. If there is one more list, then that list can be modified, whereas these two elements cannot be modified. And also deletion of this list is not possible. Okay, so deletion of the list will affect this element also, right? So that is also not possible. Deletion of any element is possible inside the list, but the entire list deletion is not possible. Okay. So now, yeah, deletion. Okay, so deletion, with respect to deletion, only possible thing is we can delete the entire tuple. Okay, deleting a particular element in a tuple is not possible. Okay, so t is equal to 1, 2, 3. Then just put delete of t, the entire tuple will be deleted. If I try to print t, it will throw an error. Okay, t is not defined. Okay, okay, fine. So one question. Okay, how will you represent a single element list? Single element list. Suppose there is only one element in list. How will you represent it, or how will you create it? I want only the value 1 to be present inside the list. So L is equal to what?
Square brackets 1.
Yeah, very good. That's it. Okay. So it is just square bracket 1. Now how will you create a single element tuple?
We have to put a comma after.
Yeah. So what does this mean? If I give just t equal to open bracket 1 and then close bracket.
So the output will be only one. It will not be a tuple.
Yeah. See, what happens here is normally these brackets are used for doing some arithmetic operations, right? Okay, so for so to combine the arithmetic operation or to give priority to arithmetic operation, we use these brackets, right? So what happens is if you give like this will be considered as a single element 1, which is an integer. Okay, so I just show you print of type of t. Okay, so we require a tuple, whereas it is telling that it is an integer. Okay, so now to represent it as a tuple, what you have to do is just end it with a comma. So this will make this single element as a tuple, and you can also see if I print, it will print along with the single, along with the comma. Okay. Yes, kindly mute Moody. Understood? See, the type has got connected to tuple, and then the value which is printing is 1 and then a comma. Okay. So this is only for a single element tuple. If you have multiple elements, more than one element, then no need to end it with a comma. Okay. It is understood. If you separate the elements using comma, then it is a tuple and enclosed with square normal parenthesis. Okay. So how to take multiple elements and then form a tuple? Since there is no append function, so is it possible? Directly we cannot do. Is there any indirect method to do that?
First taking list, then converting into tuple.
Yeah, very good. So what we can do is we can first create a list. Okay, using the elements taken from the user, we can create a list, and that list can be converted to a tuple. Okay, that is one simple method. Okay, so if you want to specifically use only list, only tuple, and then get it from the user, so what we can do is we can use the concatenation operation. Okay, so I'll just show you how it is done. Try to understand. So first, let us create a tuple, empty tuple. This is a, in this tuple only we are going to keep on add the elements taken from the user. Okay. Let's say I'm going to run the loop for 5 times. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to create a dummy tuple. Okay, a temporary tuple which would store or which would create a single element tuple which is taken from the user. Okay, the element which is taken from the user. Okay. um, okay, first let me take it in a int of input. Okay, taken an integer. Okay, dt. Okay, a temporary tuple is equal to okay. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to concatenate the tuple, okay, with this temporary tuple and then store it back to the original tuple itself. Let us see what is happening step by step. Okay, so I'm printing T. So now what has happened is in the first iteration, just the first iteration, I've taken the element 1 and stored in D, and I'm converting it to a single element tuple. Okay, and storing it in a temporary tuple dt, and then I'm concatenating with this empty tuple. So empty tuple concatenated with the single element tuple will again become a single element tuple. Okay, and then that is stored back to T itself. So the object, the empty tuple which was previously present, got replaced by the single element tuple, which was created in this concatenation.
So,
Okay.
is it important that one tuple should be empty?
This one? No, not needed.
I
So
mean,
if you have some more, if you have some
if-
elements, and then to that also you can add more elements.
okay.
Okay, let's do that. I'll just add 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So first one I'm giving. So you can see already it was 12 and 31. To that one got added. Okay. So this is not actual adding to the original tuple. I just created a new tuple. Okay. Now it is waiting for the second input. I give 2. So it will keep on getting built. 3, then 4, 5. Okay. So this is another method. But this method is not efficient because it will create a lot of memory. Additional memory would be keep on getting added up, which is unnecessary. Instead, you can go for the first method, that is creating a list and then converting it to a tuple. So this I just wanted to show, okay, how it is possible to get input and then create a tuple. So this is concatenation, and then you have the repetition operation as well. Suppose you want to create a tuple with 100 zeros, you can do the same thing. Okay, so T is equal to single element tuple 0 into 100. Print of T. Okay, you have the tuple with 100 zeros. Any doubts so far?
Sir,
Yes.
so will tuple allows duplicate elements?
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, here there are all
Zero
duplicate
itself.
zeros only. Right.
Yes, sir.
Hmm. Okay. Fine. Any other doubts? Fine. So now let us go to the next topic, sets. Okay. So set is a little bit different from list and tuple. Okay. So the difference is that it is, the first thing is it can store any data. Okay. So not it cannot store any data. I'll just come to that point later. So the data which is stored inside the set is unordered. Okay, as well as it is unindexed. So set is actually unindexed. Unindexed means what? I'll explain this first. Unindexed means, see, for accessing the element in a tuple or a list, we use the index values, right? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So we cannot use index value to access a particular element of a set. Why? Because it is unordered. So now what is unordered? So suppose you create a set, okay, with some order. Suppose you're creating a set with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, it is not assured that you'll be getting the elements in the same order. It might have got inserted in any order, okay, where the logic would be running at the back end that you'll not be knowing what happens. Okay, so the elements would be like 4, 3, 5, 1, 2, or in some shuffled order, the elements would be inserted inside the set. That is why it is called unordered. Since it is unordered, it is unindexed. Okay, so why it happens is that, so like actually why we are telling it is unordered is from the human point of view it is unordered, whereas from the system's point of view, to optimize the search complexity, okay, so it will do a backend process which is also called as hashing. So hashing is nothing but providing an index to a particular value. See, so anyway, even though if it is a set, so what happens? Suppose you are going to create a set of 5 elements, okay, an object of size 5 is going to be created. Okay, suppose the set name is yes, and then the index value would be 2039. This is all fine, but the thing is, the uh, the value that we are storing, okay, suppose in the set, suppose we are storing curly braces. Okay. Set is represented using curly braces, so it may be shuffled in some order. Okay, so first 3 may be stored, then 2, then 5, 4, and then 1. So why it is stored like this is, it will, for 3 the index has been mapped as 0. That's why it is stored in 0th index. Okay, so it is in a single block only. Each element will have an index, no doubt in that. Only thing is, so it is not predictable at which index what element is present. That is why set does not allow you to access an element using index. This process is done because it wants some fast access, okay, fast retrieval. So if you want to, if you want to search for a particular element, suppose I want to search for 3. So in a normal list or a tuple, what you have to do is you have to search the entire list or a list and entire tuple, right? Whereas in a set, if you want to search for 3, it will directly calculate at what index is 3 would be present. Okay, so it will not search the entire set and check whether 3 is present or not. Instead, 3 will be mapped to a particular index, right? First it will calculate the index, and then it will just search in that particular index. It will not go and search in all the other values. So that's why it will easily tell that element is present or not, and for retrieving also it will not take much time. Okay, are you able to get a outer picture? If you're not able to go in depth, no problem. Understandable, or do you want me to repeat it again? Yes.
Yeah, repeat.
Understandable, sir.
So please repeat.
Okay, I'll repeat it. Mm, okay, so I'll quickly explain what is hashing. So um, suppose we have, okay, so 5, let me take okay, let there be 5 elements itself. Hash size is equal to 5. Okay, so hash size is equal to 5 means what is that you will have a set of elements. Okay, you have a table of size 5. Okay, and you have the index 0 to 4. Okay. So now let me store certain elements. Suppose the values which are coming are 34, 12, 45, 63. Okay, suppose these four elements I want to store inside this table, which is of size 5. Okay, so first 34 is coming, right? So there will be a hash function. This function is responsible for providing the index where to store this particular element, whatever element comes in. Okay, so this hash function is usually the element which is a key, which we call it as key. Mod is the model operation. Okay, the hash table size. Okay, so here the hash table size is what? 5. So if we apply the hash function for 34, what would be the output?
4.
4, right?
4.
So hash function is giving 4 as the value for 34. So 34 will be stored at 4th index. Fine. For 12,
2.
2. So 12 will be stored at the 2nd index. 45,
0.
0. So at
0.
0th index, 45 will be stored. 63,
3.
3. 63 would be stored at 3rd index. Okay. So now, like suppose you want to search for element 12. Okay. So it will not go and search for the entire table. Instead, it just applies the hash function. Okay, for this 12. So 12 mod hash size, which is 2, right? So it directly go to the second position and then check whether the element is present or not. Okay, if it is present there, it will quickly retrieve and give. If it is not present, it will tell that element is not present. Okay, so there are, this is a simple hashing. Okay, so there are multiple ways there. If there is one more element which comes and sits in the same place, this is called collision. Okay, for example, next element which I'm inserting is 22. So for 22 also the index is going to be 2 only, right? So it cannot sit in the same location. Okay, so what happens is a chaining happens. Okay, that is after 12. Okay, that will be, okay, suppose if this is a list. Okay, after 12, a new element 22 will be appended to that. That is one, that is called separate chaining. Okay, that is one of the hashing methods. So like that, lot of methods are there. So this is the overall picture of hashing. Okay, so suppose in a list or a tuple, if you want to search for a particular element, you will go and search each and every element, right? Each and every index you'll be searching. Whereas here, you directly come to that index. So obviously the time is being greatly reduced. Suppose if there are 1 lakh elements, okay. So to check whether the element is not present, okay, you have to search for 1 lakh times, right, in a list. Whereas in a tuple, whereas in a set, you'll directly go to that index. If that element is present, you will simply tell that element is, you will take that element and give it to the user, or you will tell that element is not present. That's it. Okay. So that is hashing, and that is what happens in a set when you store an element. That is why you cannot predict. You don't know what is the hash function and what's the hash table size. So if there are more elements, the size increases. Okay, and then the hash function also changes. The index also changes. So that is why it is unordered. At one time it will be in some order. Another time, if you add more elements and then execute, see the output, it would have changed. The positions would have got changed. Okay, fine. Yeah, so to represent a set, we use the curly braces, and then to create an empty set, we cannot use s is equal to curly braces. Why? Because there is one more sequence type called dictionary, which uses the same process or same instance, same like to create an empty dictionary, use the same process. Okay, S is equal to sorry, D is equal to empty curly braces. We'll create an empty dictionary. I'll just show you. Okay, so it is of type dictionary. So now how to create an empty set is that use the set keyword. Okay, this is how you will create a new set. Fine. So this you can also so that is only for empty set. Okay, so if you want to create a set with elements, you can use curly braces. So s1 is equal to um, so this is a set of fruits, right? Now we can see the order in which I have added the fruits. Okay, and then you can see in which order it is being printed. Okay, fine. So we can see certain properties of set. The first thing is no duplicates. Okay, so you cannot have two twos, two ones like that. Okay, set means you'll have only one element. All the elements are unique in a set. Okay, and then the elements should be immutable. Okay, elements should be immutable. Why it should be immutable is that I told you a process called hashing will happen on the element, right? Okay, so suppose if I change this element, the hash value itself will change, right? Did you get it? Okay, suppose if I change, if it is possible to change this 2 to 2.5, so what happens? The hash value itself will change for that particular element. Okay, so just to avoid that, okay, only the elements which are immutable can be inserted inside a set. Whichever elements, whichever types are mutable cannot be inserted to a set. For example, you cannot have a list inside a set. We can have tuple because tuple is immutable. Okay, and then we can have string is immutable. We can have all the number types, integer, float, complex number, all those things we can have. Okay, and then set is also immutable. Sorry, set is also mutable. We can add more elements, we can remove an element. Okay, so that is why set we cannot access it using index, whereas it can be changed. Okay, so now we cannot have one more set inside a set. Okay, and we cannot have a dictionary also inside a set because dictionary is also mutable. I hope you understood why why elements which are immutable, which are mutable, cannot be added inside a set because of this hashing process. Okay, any doubts so far?
No, sir.
Okay. So now what will happen if I do this? I add apple. So you can see apple, orange, grapes, again apple.
It'll give an error.
Okay. Any other answer?
It will print apple only one time.
Yeah, correct. So it will just omit the uh, second appearance. Okay. Fine. So you can see the last time. Can you see the order? Last time it was grapes, orange, apple. Now it got changed to apple, grapes, orange. So we cannot predict. Okay, in which order it's being inserted. Then so like uh, yeah. So it is possible to convert a list and a tuple to a set. Okay, we can use a list or a tuple to convert to a set. So like you can create a list of elements. Okay, if you want to get the elements from the user, you can just simply keep on getting elements in a list, and then you can convert it to a set. Okay, so for example, L is equal to set of L. Suppose I add more duplicate elements. Okay, so this is a list, and then here you have the set of elements, and only the unique elements are present. Okay, duplicate elements have been omitted. Fine. So for accessing the elements in the list, so you cannot directly go and access the element. Okay, like you don't have index, right? So you cannot directly access the element. Instead, you can use the for loop, right? So just to iterate over the set. Print of I. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now, surprisingly, it is coming in order. Suppose if it is coming in some random order, if you want it to be in some order, okay, so in sorted order, what you do is you just put sorted of yes. Okay, so suppose this will like reduce the randomness. Okay, so let us insert some different elements. 22, 202, 34, 14. See, this set is in some random order, and you can see here it will be in sorted order. So if you want to be in sorted order, you can just use sorted of yes. Okay, suppose you want to add new elements. Let us take so some simple operations we can perform. Okay, you want to add more elements, just put yes dot add of 123. print of yes. Okay, this is one method. Okay, and now if you have one more set, and then if you want to add those elements to this original set, okay, suppose you have s2 and the elements are so you have a function called update. So what it does is it will just add all these elements to this list itself. Okay, so yes dot update of yes one. Okay, so I hope you all know the union operation, right? Suppose you have 12, 13, 43. So what do you mean by union?
Just
Add.
joining,
Sorry.
just joining the two sets.
Okay, so here you can see there are duplicate elements. 12 is present in both the sets.
Mm.
Now what will happen?
We'll take it once.
Yeah, that is what is union, right? So union, you have it will take all the first it will take the elements from here, and whichever elements are not, whichever elements are from here, which are not present in S alone will be taken. Okay, so here 234, 345, 567 alone will be there. Okay, so it is not that you have to give only a set inside the update. You can also give a list, or you can also give a tuple. Okay, inside this update. So you can just give a try for that. Okay, just note it down and then you can just try. Next, let us see the set operations. Or yeah, so before that, let us see the remove operation. So to remove a particular element, there are two methods. One is remove and other is discard. Okay, let us see the difference. I'll just take three elements. S dot remove of 12 print of yes. Okay, 12 got removed. Now if I give s dot remove of 56, the element is not present, right? Okay, now this remove function, what it does is it will check for the particular element to remove. Okay, so if that element is not present, it will throw an error. So key error means what? This particular element is not present in the set. Okay, so the remove function will also check whether element is present or not. If it is present, it will remove, else it is throwing an error. Now the other function is discard function. So similar to remove, but only thing is it'll, if it is not present, it'll just skip that. Okay, so first s dot discard of 56. Okay, print of s. So physics is not present, so I'm printing, so it is printing the original set itself. Nothing is being removed. So S dot discard of 23. Got removed. Okay. Fine. And we also have the pop function. So I'll just show it here itself. So just put S dot pop. So no methods, no index or no value to be given to this pop. You'll just remove whichever element was in the first position. Okay. Let us see the output. Okay, the element which was in the first position got popped out of the set. Okay, again this pop function is totally unpredictable.
The last.
Whichever element is in the first will get removed.
So element which is first, that means the element which we have defined while defining, which we have defined as the first.
Index 1, index 1, index 1. Yeah, index 0.
Okay.
But in set, there is no index.
No, index 0 in the sense, see here, like 43 is appearing in the first position, right?
Okay.
So if 12 was occurring the first position, that would have got popped out.
So that means we don't know which number
Yeah.
will be removed.
Yeah, that's what I told. Pop is totally unpredictable. Whichever is in the first will be just removed. Then we also have the clear function. Okay, so clear function will remove all the elements. And I have a query. What is the difference between discard and remove in the result? Yeah, just now I told. Yeah, could anyone explain what's the difference?
The discard is not giving errors, whereas remove will give errors. So the program will not function after that statement.
Yeah, if that particular element, okay, is not present, remove will provide a key error. Okay, discard will not provide a key error. If it is present, it will remove, else it will just leave it as it is. Got it?
Yes, sir. Very clear.
Yeah.
Thanks.
So clear function. So clear function is understandable, right? Okay, just put S dot clear. Print of S. Yes. Okay, so you have an empty set. And then you can put, if you want to delete the object itself, you just put delete of yes. Now the object have got deleted. Print of yes will throw an error. Okay. Now let us quickly see the set operations. So there are 4 set operations. One is union, intersection, difference, symmetric difference. Okay. So for example, we have set A, set 1, set 1 has all the numbers from 1 to 10, and set 2 is having all the even numbers from 1 to 20. Okay, so 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20. Okay, if I do a union, int of, so it's very simple. Just put s1 dot union of s2. So this will not update the s1. Okay, it will create a new set. So I can show that. So what would be the answer for s1 dot union? So it will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And
12,
then
14, 16, 18,
yeah,
20.
correct. Okay, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20. And that order is not sure. So this is the output. Okay, and then you can see that s1 is still the same. It's not updated. Okay, so to update only you have the function called update. Okay, which we saw here. This acts exactly like union, and only thing is that it will update the original set itself. Whereas this union function will not update s1, whereas it will create a new set. Okay. So if you want to store it in some other set, you can just put s3 is equal to s1 dot union of s2. Fine. Yeah. So next is intersection. Yeah. Again, s1 will not get updated. What would be the output of s1 intersection s2? What is the meaning of intersection?
Common elements.
Common
Yeah.
elements.
Only the common elements will be appearing in this output set. Okay, here the common elements are
2,
2, 4,
4,
6,
6,
8,
8,
and 10.
10.
Yeah. Okay, so 2, 4, 6, 8, and 10. And again, you can see S1 has not got updated. Okay, so if you want S1 to get updated, there is a function called intersection underscore update. Okay, so if you use this function, S1 will get updated. I'll just show you and I'll just revert back. Okay. So this will not return. That's why you're getting a none. Okay, this will not return the output. So only intersection returns an output so that you can store in some other set. This okay, S1 intersection underscore update is not returning any output. Okay, any object is not returned. That's why it is a none. And you can see S1 got updated. Okay, so that's why it is intersection underscore update. Now, difference. So S1 difference S2. So you have this and you have set 1 and you have set 2. So now what happens? Difference means whichever element of S1 is present in S2 will not come as the output. Okay, so here have 2, 4, 6, 8, and 10 which are present in S2, right? They will be removed from the output of S1. So the remaining values are 1, 2, sorry, 1, 3, 5, 7, and 9. Are you able to follow? Okay, this is the difference. Okay, and again you have difference underscore update which will update S1. Okay, that is understandable. Then you have print S1 dot symmetric difference. So what is symmetric difference? In this difference, it took only set 1. It considered only set 1 for the output, right? Whereas in symmetric difference, it considers both S1 and S2 for output. So the common elements in both the sets will be removed. This is the output, okay? See, the common elements were 2, 4, 6, 8, and 10, right? So all those elements are not present in this final output. So that's a symmetric difference. And again, you have symmetric difference update, which will update S1 itself. Okay. Yeah. I had a question. I forgot that question. Yeah. So superset and subset. So what is superset? Was S1 is equal to and S2 is equal to
So S2 is the subset of S1,
yeah.
whereas S1 is a superset of S1, S2.
Hmm. So what is subset? What is superset? What is the meaning?
The universal set will be the superset.
Not in okay. So universal set is a superset. Fine. So what is the meaning for superset? Okay. So all the elements of S2 will be present in S1.
Yes.
Okay. So we can so with respect to S1, we can see that okay, S2, few of the elements of S1 are present in S2. So that is why S1 is a superset and S2 is the subset. Why? Because all the elements which are present in S2 are also there in S1. Okay. Print S1. So you have a function called is superset. The answer is true. Okay. So you have true, false, true, false. Okay. So S1 is a superset. Yes, it is true. S2 is a superset. No, false. S2 is a subset. Yes, true. S1 is a subset. No, false. Okay. Yeah. My question is, can you give an example where you get all the statements as true. I want all truths, true, 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 true as the output. Can you give an example for that?
So if both sets have same elements,
Yes, very good. If both sets have the same elements, then everything will be true. Okay? Yeah. So can you tell an example where all the statements are false?
if both have different elements,
Both have different elements. Fine. Should all the elements be different or few
5, I mean,
elements?
null element, null,
Null?
I think null.
Which one?
one set is null, that means
Or both,
Okay.
null, both sets are null.
Mm, both sets are null. Null in the
both
sense
cannot
empty?
both cannot be null, I think.
No. Okay, think about a different example without null.
Okay. Like one set is an even numbers and one set is an odd number.
Yeah, very good. That is a good example. But here, if I just one more element, which are totally different. Okay, one here and three here. Even now, will get all things as false. Okay, so it violates the subset and superset rule, right? Understood? Any doubts in this? This is understood or not? See, subset means what? All the elements should be present in S1, right? 3 is not present, so it is not a subset. So superset means what? All the elements of S2 should be there in S1. So 3 is not there in S1, so it is not a superset as well. So everything will become a false. Okay, and you have one more function, disjoint. Okay, so disjoint means what? Both are totally different. Okay, so for example, one is a set of odd numbers and other is set of even numbers. Okay, now if I put disjoint also, that will also become false. Okay, I'll just take the same example. So what would be the output for these four? Yes, for these four statements, what would be the output? I have odd numbers and even numbers.
False.
Yeah, everything would be false, right? So I just add this one dot, disjoint of S2. So disjoint, okay, so it doesn't matter if it is S1 dot disjoint or S2 dot disjoint, both are same. So disjoint means what? None of the elements should be common between both the sets. Okay, so we have a true. So in other terms, what we can say is the intersection gives a null set. Okay, so here S1 intersection S2, there is nothing common, right? So null would be the answer for intersection. So it is true. It is disjoint. Disjoint means there is no common elements at all. Fine. So that's it about sets. We have one more topic, dictionary, that we can see in the next class. Now, if you have any doubts, you can ask me. So you can share your feedback. How do you feel about the course? How is the problems? How is it easy or is it difficult?
The course is very interesting. Problems
Yes,
are also very good.
Thank you.
yes, we are understanding well, but
Uh,
I'm not able to do I practice questions. I don't know why, but I get confused with the questions.
okay. So you have the group, right? People are there to help you. Even our own students who are practicing in COL will be able to help you out.
Okay.
You can have a discussion as well, or you can put I will also be helping you out. Okay,
Okay.
and you have the dash mentor support as well. Okay,
Okay.
Sir, I have a doubt in I practice question. I'm not able to get the logic.
which one?
Sir, day 2, problem 14.
See, kindly any one of you share the WhatsApp join link in chat now. Guru Srikanth is asking for the WhatsApp group link. Day 2, I practice. One second.
Yes, sir. I practice question number 14.
Cookery contest, right?
Yes, sir.
Zain is participating in the cookery contest to be held at her company. Beginner in cooking, more creative, wanted to give a good show. La la. Decide to cook only one small portion of a recipe, some ratio of ingredients, and makes less food. Does not like fractions. The original recipe contains only whole numbers of ingredients. Design wants the reduced recipe to only contain the whole numbers of the ingredients as well. Help her determine how much of each ingredient to use in order to make as little food as possible. No, you found out the logic or
No, sir. I'm facing the problem in logic. Actually, sir, it's like the first line of input you have to give an integer n, and the second line will contain those many like n spaced integer indicating the quantity of the particular ingredient. So that
yeah,
my doubt is that if we are inputting 2 as the first input, then we have to give 2
only two. Yeah.
variables. Yeah, but then this is dynamic now, so people can say user can input 4 for the first n, and then we have to take 4 numbers as the input. So how can we do that?
No need to worry about that. If two is given, only two inputs will be there.
Yeah, but it
Okay.
is not given. We have to take 2 as the input from the user, and then next line is also an input line which will contain like
that
two
will
elements.
contain only 2 elements. Okay, don't worry
Yeah.
about it will contain more elements or less elements. If it's mentioned as 2, only 2 elements will be there. If it's mentioned as 3, only 3 elements will be there. Okay.
No, sir. I think here user is deciding now how many elements has to be inputted.
No, see, like, see what at the back end we are providing the test cases to be checked, right?
Yeah.
So no one will be checking your code manually. System will check by itself. It is an auto evaluation. We already given the test cases. So those test cases would be in a way that if it is 3, only 3 elements would be there. Okay. So
Sir,
don't think in that manner. If given as 2, only 2 elements will be there. Okay. Yeah.
No, sir. This
so but
two
how to
is
take two inputs, na sir?
yeah,
How
yeah,
to take
exactly, sir.
That's what I explained no, at the beginning of the class.
list of map,
List of map
map
of
of
int of
income.
int. Where is that? Yeah, this
So
one.
but we are getting output as in a list now, in list type.
Oh, list is not taught yet.
Yeah, sir. It is
Uh,
operator's question.
Conditional question, right? Okay.
So did you
Mm,
get my question?
yeah, I got. You're telling that two if number 2 is given and if suppose the user gives 3, the second 3 space separated values, what would happen? That is a question, right?
No, sir. My question is that both the inputs, like two, the number two is also given by the user, and once
Mm.
the number two is given, the user
Mm.
should enter only two values and not more than that. And if
Yes.
three is given, then the user has to enter three values. So
Yeah.
user is deciding how many values the user wants to enter.
Mm.
Sir, and also before problems, we observe that just we assign a comma b is equals to map of like that. But here we are instead taking
We
as
cannot do that because it's dynamic.
yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Then what is the what will be the
Yeah,
Adjusted
only
second
code.
thing
line?
is list
What
only.
will be the
You have to
second
take it in
line?
a list. Okay, now we now we have learned about list. No, we can
Yes, sir.
use that. You can use the list concept over here. So if there is any other logic, I'll tell you in the next class.
Okay, sure.
So once you get in a list, and so the logic is you have to find the um, HCF, right? Highest common factor. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So that is the logic actually here. So here
I
now
have a doubt.
HCF of 2, 3, 4 is 1 only. So yeah, tell me.
I have a doubt in fifth problem, sir. One seventh or fifth? Seventh.
1 second. Ticket types.
Now
Okay.
I assigned n as input and then I took conditions if n is equal to e or n is equal to small lower e.
Mm.
We should print early bird ticket and so on like up to C I did, sir, but I'm getting 80% of test case as passed.
Uh,
Once can you check my
yeah. What is the username?
Abhishek Jilla ABHA? Yes, third one.
Third one. Child ticket, not tickets.
Child
Okay.
ticket. Okay.
You have printed on an additional yes. Okay, that is a mistake.
And also one more problem, sir. And also one more
Mm.
problem.
Mm.
14th. Once show me the problem list. Problem list.
1 second. Mm.
Second, sir.
Which one?
1 second, sir. I'm searching for it. Card game. I think card game. Card. No. 1 second. Can I team event? One sec for 12, sir. 12.
Team event.
Once. No. 1 second, sir. I'll check and I'll confirm it.
Yeah, okay.
Sir, can you check mine?
Yeah. Which one?
10th question.
Have doubt in the question or submission?
My test cases, it's saying 83.33%.
Okay. Your ID?
Vowel Bhumika. WAVH.
WAV.
Yeah, that's it.
Grades of rights, right?
Yes, sir.
So what is the question? So what is the logic? What should we do? Can I explain
Yes, sir,
for
I
this one?
got the logic. But the test cases are not passing.
See, it is not passing for 56, 60, 108.
Okay, we'll try for that.
Yeah. Okay.
Sir, I am having, sir, 90% submission in this.
Your ID?
Sir, Malhotra K.
MAL.
HOTRA.
Again the same. 56, 60, 108. Expected is 7.
Okay. Okay, sir, I'll try it again.
Okay.
So mine 13th one. Abhishek Jilla. Third.
Name? This one?
13th problem.
13th. Problem name?
Lucky pairs.
Lucky pairs. What is the question? Okay. For 372, the answer is 20. You're getting 40.
Okay, 372.
Just check for that, and then I hope the other test case also will get passed. Okay.
What's the input, sir? 372.
372. Yeah. Answer is 20.
Okay.
Any other doubts?
Yes, sir. Sir, once can you open, sir, 12th question?
12th question. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Sir, in this we will get the last digit by doing the modulus operator. And sir, how then we'll apply it in, sir, for loop, sir. Then how can we skip like how to get the first digit and add it to that?
What is the question actually? Absolute difference between the
Yes,
first and the last
yes,
station
last.
code. Okay, is there any thing that how many digits should be there?
Yes, sir. Like, if there will be more digits, then how to get the first digit and last digit? Last digit is getting just by modulus 10, and then how to get first?
The participant is doing the 10 things in the station code. Event organization. So number of digits is not given. So you have to find out the first you have to find out the number of digits. So how will you find the number of digits?
Yes, sir. Sir, like how can we iterate in the value that user has given?
Sir,
I want to ask
No,
that.
you have to write a logic for finding the number of digits.
sir,
Okay.
Yeah,
sir, I've solved this. Can I explain?
yeah, please.
So firstly, we will take the input.
Hmm.
Then if the input is less than 10, we have to print invalid input. If the input is like else, in the else part, we will say we'll first find the length of that string. So first we'll convert x into string and then we'll find the length of the string. So once we have the length of the string, then for finding the difference, the last part, as he has already mentioned, that we'll get it by modulo 10. The first digit we can get it by dividing x raised to length of the string minus 1. 10 raised to, sorry, 10
10
raised
raised
to,
to
yeah, 10 raised to, so it would be
length
a
of the
floor
string minus 1.
division. The floor division, so x floor division 10 raised to length of the string minus 1, so we'll get the first digit.
Yes, sir, it's working, sir. When I did the same.
Okay.
Okay.
You understood? See, first you get the input. Okay, don't
Okay.
typecast it while getting the input directly. First you get the input as a string itself. Okay, just
Okay.
get the length, len of that input. Okay, you'll get the length, and then you have the power operator double star, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, 10 double star length minus 1. Okay, you use that, divide it, use floor division and divide. After then you convert it to integer. Okay, then you divide that integer with that 1 followed by another number of zeros. You'll get the last digit. Okay, fine.
Okay,
Use
sir.
modulo and then you'll get the first digit.
Okay, sir. I will try this.
Okay. Then any other doubts? Okay, fine.
To me, I want to add out question 5, day 2.
Day 2. Eighth one. Total expense.
Day 2, number 5. On cans. Somewhat cans.
Card game.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think my problem was when they input our a space, there was an error. But when the input doesn't have a space, there isn't.
This one we discussed, right? In the class itself we discussed.
Yes, sir, I think he is
Yeah,
using
last class.
2.7 version.
Okay, see, kindly use version 3, Python version 3.
Can you
Yes, sir.
set the
Okay.
version 3 by default from backend?
Okay, fine. We'll
Yes, sir,
remove version 2
because it's
default.
not
Because
get.
Yeah, it happens with me every time that I run. I don't change it to 3 and I try writing the code in 2.7 and then it shows error and then it isn't shifted to 3. Like I have to type it one again on 3, everything.
Okay, okay.
Copy
Okay, fine.
paste is also not available.
I'll change. I'll change. Okay, okay.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, see, Guru asking about the mentor support. See, once you log in, you have the right hand side corner. Okay, so once you like go to the iPractice session, so whichever session you are in, okay, so the right hand side corner you have an icon. Just click on that. You have the chat button. Okay, there you can raise your doubts.
No doubt, sir.
Okay, okay, fine. Thank you all. So have a nice day. You can meet in the next class. Okay,
Thank you, sir.
yeah.
Thank you.